This is the Finalmouse ULX Pro Series Tarik edition in the smaller Cheetah size, and I've been using it with their 8K polling beta firmware for the past weeks. I figured it might interest some people to see what kind of improvements Finalmouse has managed to do, what is different on their Pro Series mice, and how good is the performance with their current 8K beta firmware, so here we are. Let's start with the build quality, since that was my main issue with the previous ULX Lion I had. In terms of sideways flex, they have actually managed to do something that I didn't think was possible because of the structure and the material flexiness. The side flex and creaking is basically zero from the spot I grip my mouse, and also like almost completely gone from the upper corners pressed inwards. On the ULX Lion that I had, this spot had like a huge flex going on, but as you can see, it's pretty much non-existent. There is some slight creaking on the back part, but it's something that can't be felt in use at all. So their bottom shell tooling changes that were announced actually seems to have worked really well. Only thing that is now noticeable, and some people seem to have this issue too, is some bottom flexing on the right side of the bottom. There now seems to be a tiny gap between the sidewall and the bottom plate that can cause some creaking if pressed from a certain spot. But here's the thing. You are not gonna press that spot while using the mouse, and that part is not gonna be in contact with the mousepad at all. What matters more is that there is zero creaking on the parts that make contact with the mousepad, so the spot where the skates are. And yeah, for me, the mouse feels incredibly solid to use now. I'm not defending their overall quality control, and of course you want your $190 mouse to be as rock solid as possible. I completely understand that. I too bought this with my own money. But if you got this Tarik model and the only creaking is the bottom part and you are somewhat bothered about it, you lose sleep because of it, but don't feel it in actual use. Just keep using the mouse normally. You will eventually just forget about the bottom plate and overall be much happier. The mouse weighs around 36 grams with skates installed on my scale, which is pretty far from the 31 grams that still reads on their website in multiple locations. I'm not saying that 36 grams is heavy by any means, and I really don't mind the extra few grams if it means more solid user experience, but come on Finalmouse, just change the number on the website. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, so the next improvement they made was the clicks. They made some big tooling changes to improve the click feel, reduce the sideways wobble, and eliminate the grinding on the clicks. On this Tarik model, they also used some specially binned Huano transparent blue shell pink dots as the main switches. And let me tell you guys, these clicks feel amazing. They feel completely different from the previous one I had, and there is like zero grinding on them. Sideways wobble is also very minimal. It is slightly more on the left click, but the right one doesn't like budge at all. I haven't noticed the wobble to increase at all during these past weeks, so these improvements really impress me as well. The Huanos on it feel also very nice, with just the perfect amount of pre and post travel to make them feel really spammable. The click is also nicely light and snappy like the Huanos usually are. So improvements on the clicks are really nice overall. By the way, these improvements to clicks and shell tolerances are also something that will be on their newer batches of the non-pro ULX as well, except the Huanos being used as the main buttons. Oh, and yeah, mandatory scroll wheel center check. To me, it seems to be fairly centered. Then, as another Pro Series exclusive is gonna be their soft touch coating that honestly feels pretty nice. It is fairly grippy and feels slightly rubberized, at least on the main buttons, but you can't feel it that much on the sides since there are holes in them. Some users have reported it to start yellowing pretty soonish, which is something that hasn't really happened on my unit yet. Final Boy posted some test results of their new coating on their Discord, and if those are true, the coating should be very good durability wise, but it still seems that the coating, like most soft touch coatings are, is not fully stain proof. So a small reminder for those with mice with light colors: wash your hands with soap regularly, don't eat around your desk, and you will keep the mouse looking fresh a lot longer. But unfortunately, sometimes there is nothing you can really do, and for example, the GPX2 white model that I have has started to turn yellowish, even though I wash my hands very regularly. Another option is of course to use some aftermarket grips on the mouse button, since the mouse comes with side grips only. The side grips on the Tarik version are now thicker and have some sort of layered structure going on. At first the grips felt really nice, but I found out that for me the mouse without grips is actually grippier than with those. So that is what I'm rocking currently. I will probably throw on some Launda ultra thin grips for the sweatier days, since those grips are actually really good for sweaty hands. But for now, this will do. Last topic we're gonna talk about is the 8K polling beta firmware and the performance with it. So the 8K beta has been rolling out to some people, me included, and so far things are looking extremely promising. Their main chef Maxime has been cooking yet again, and we can expect some really impressive performance numbers with a relatively good battery life as well. The motion delay I measured with the beta firmware was around minus 0.9 milliseconds from the control unit at 8K polling, which is pretty much what I expected it to be based on the previous results. With the other polling rates, I couldn't measure any difference to the previous results, but they were already the lowest wireless numbers I've measured in their own categories. What is also impressive is the 8K polling stability with the beta firmware. I could get some really consistent and tight polling rate graphs with the 8K polling rate, which is not usually the case with other wireless 8K implementations. I've been using this mouse with 8K polling on Apex, Coax and Aimlabs for the past week, and I haven't noticed any stuttering either. With other polling rates, some bugs are still present on the beta firmware that need to be fixed, but things are looking very promising. The click latency results are also very impressive, and this time the results were virtually the same with every polling rate. So around 0.34 milliseconds for click latency at 8K, 4K, 2K and 1K, which then makes this pretty much on par with the WL Mouse Beast X Mini, which has had the lowest result I previously measured. So the motion and click latency results combined, the ULX can be considered the fastest wireless gaming mouse in terms of latency with the beta firmware, even topping the likes of Razer. Does these numbers and small differences matter in real use? Probably not, but Finalmouse has made some bold statements about them having the fastest wireless mouse, so it's good to see that these claims actually hold true. The battery life on 8K is somewhere between 2 to 3 days of usage. I haven't measured it exactly, but I haven't faced issues with the battery dying on me while gaming. I have no idea when the official 8K firmware will launch, but based on how things are looking, I'm expecting it to happen relatively soon. So yeah, overall I'm pretty happy with my unit, and overall I'm very happy that Finalmouse has started to fix the things that people have reported on their older ULX patches, like the extra flexiness, for example. I still firmly believe that these issues should have been fixed before the launch actually happened, but hey, better late than never, I guess. But yeah, things are looking very promising if you are someone who has thought about getting yourself a ULX. Just don't believe the weight claims on their website. But that is it for this video. Thanks for watching and see you on the next one. Goodbye.